Okay, very good evening, children. And we have seen in the first lesson electrostatics. Do you all know what is electrostatics, children? Come on, tell me. We have learned like so much of concepts you have learned in electrostatics, like charges, then properties of charges, quantization of charge, Coulomb's law, electric field direction. So many concepts we have seen all about static charge, stationary charge. And we all very well know that the stationary charges produces electric field. And what is the direction of what is electric field actually? It's nothing but imaginary line which you are drawing around the charge to know its effect. That is electric field. We have a sign convention for the same thing. If it is going to be a single positive charge, what is the direction of electric field? What is it? It is radially outwards. Single negative charge, radially inwards. All that about static charge, stationary charge. But then here, what we are going to learn is lesson 4. This is lesson 4. Lesson 4, what's all about? Lesson 4, all about moving charges and magnetism. So, the lesson name implies itself that we are going to learn about moving charge. We know that stationary charge, that is static charge, produces what field? Static charge produces electric field. Is it or not? Yes, you know, produces electric field. That is what you have learned. Whereas here, moving charges not only produces electric field, both electric as well as magnetic field. Produces both electric and magnetic field. Electric and magnetic field. What is the symbol of electric field, children? E. Is it scalar or vector? It is a vector quantity. All that you have learnt. But now what is the symbol of magnetic field? What is it actually? How is it moving charge produces magnetic field? It is all about only relativity. Can you see here? Can you see here? If there is a relative velocity, between the charged particle and someone observing the charge, the charge is moving relative to the observer, then the charge appears to produce a magnetic field. One example I'll give you, very simple example. You take a balloon, transparent balloon, fill water in the balloon. Now hold it like that, you are not moving, keep it like that. Now when you're holding, does the water move? I mean the water that is present in the balloon does not move. Now what you do? Slowly you start moving. Then water in the balloon, what does it do? Slightly it moves. How does the water in the balloon move? Does it move up and down? No. It moves left and right. Snatch like that. Am I correct? If you move fast, what will happen to the water in the balloon? Water that is present in the balloon also will be moving very fast. Snatch left and right like that. In circular motion. Have you ever noticed that? Yes. But if you move very, very fast, what will happen? That also will be moving hither and thither very fast. So that kind of motion, you call it as magnetic field, production of magnetic field. That's due to the relative motion. That's what is given. If there is a relative velocity, yes, there is a relative velocity. You are moving. So the water balloon which is at rest only, it is not actually moving. Water molecules are not actually moving from one place to another. But since you are moving relatively, the balloon is also, that means water present in the balloon is also moving now, relatively. So if there is a relative velocity between the charged particle, which is the charged particle here? Water molecules are the charged particles. So the charged particle and someone observing the charge. Who is observing the charge? It is you. The charge is moving relative to the observer, then the charge appears to produce a magnetic field around it. So that magnetic field around it, that is what is shown here. You are moving, that means when you are moving, you are holding the balloon which is filled with water. So therefore, when you move like that, around this, the magnetic field is produced. Around that, there is a motion of the charged particle, motion of the water molecule. So circular motion, that is called as the magnetic field. So therefore, when the charges are trying to move forward, the magnetic field will be produced around it, not along it. So whenever the charges are set into motion, that means electric field is created. Due to that electric field, the magnetic field will be created around it. That is all about this lesson. Hope you understand the basic of this, children. Now, so moving charges produces both electric and magnetic field. Now note, you have to note. Note, magnetic field, magnetic field. Symbol, magnetic field symbol is taken as B. SI unit of magnetic field, you take it as Tesla. T symbol, it is Tesla. SI unit of magnetic field. Magnetic field is a vector quantity because it has direction. It is a vector quantity. Lower classes, class 10, we learn, children, always the magnetic field line starts from north pole and towards the south pole. That is all. So it is a vector quantity. Got it, children? Just the basic I am giving you. Now, the next page when you go, here, the magnetic field. Note, direction of magnetic field. Direction of magnetic field. Direction of magnetic field. B. Perpendicular into the plane of the paper, to be mentioned as perpendicular into the plane of the paper. Perpendicular into the plane of the paper. Into the plane of paper is mentioned as into the plane of the paper. So that means when you take a paper, you know, this is the plane of the paper I have taken. You see here, this is the plane of the paper. In this plane of the paper, the plane is like that. Now, perpendicular into the plane of the paper, you look at the pen. This is called perpendicular into the plane of the paper. Into third axis, z axis, negative z axis. Perpendicular outside the plane of the paper, then how do you keep? Like this. This is perpendicular outside the plane of the paper. It has to come outside. Okay, if you're not going to place it like that, if it is going to be my notebook, you keep it like this. You keep it like this. In this, perpendicular into the plane of the paper. Look at the nib of the pen. It is going inwards. So therefore, it is called as perpendicular into the plane of the paper, which is negative z axis. If I put it like that, perpendicular outside the plane of the paper, positive z axis. Hope you understand, children. So now perpendicular into the plane of the paper is into, which is nothing but minus k cap. Minus what cap? K cap. You all must be knowing like I, j, k cap. I cap is along x axis, j cap is along y axis, k cap is along z axis, same thing here. Next, perpendicular outside the plane of the paper. Perpendicular outside the plane of the paper. That is equal to plus k cap. So, I know both into the plane of the paper as well as outside the plane of just the direction. This is how we need to represent. Okay, children. So now, first experiment based on the magnetic field. Who found out that there is a magnetic field around or magnetic field due to current carrying conductor? Oersted experiment you are going to see. What experiment? Oersted experiment. What is that for? We will check Oersted experiment. What is that for? Oersted experiment. Oersted was a scientist. This is a fictitious story. Please listen. Was a scientist. Was always outstanding student in his class. So one day what will happen during the lab session, the teacher was teaching the lab experiment by drawing the circuit diagram. So AB is a conductor the red color line which I have drawn is a conductor, and it has been connected to, rheostat and a key by means of a battery. It has been connected like that. Now this is key. Now what happened? The teacher had to go out of the lab for a meeting. During the time, Oersted, what does he do? He wanted to just experiment it. He wanted to, experience the same thing. So he's so excited to experience the same thing. So what does it do? He was meddling with apparatus. While he was meddling with apparatus, by the time there was a small magnetic compass needle was lying over there. Have you ever seen small magnetic compass needle, children? Yes, sailors will be using, no? Your small magnet. So that small magnetic compass needle was held on the table, magnetic compass needle. It is held on the table. Accidentally, what happened when he was just pressing the key, press the key. After pressing the key, what will happen? You yourself tell me, in the circuit current start flowing. So current start flowing from B to A like that. When the current start flowing from bottom to the top, that is from south to north. North always you mark it like that. North is upward, south to north. So what happens here? The magnetic compass needle, accidentally it was there. So that has been forward, that has come forward, and it was exactly below the wire. Which is exactly below the wire? The magnetic compass needle was exactly below the wire. So when it was exactly below the wire, the compass needle was found to be, it should be like this, right? The compass needle was found to be deflecting like that. The compass needle should be like that. See, the compass needle, it should be like this. But then what happened? As soon as the switch is closed, the compass needle, which was like this, is found to be dancing from here to here. So this is dancing like that. The compass needle was found to be dancing like this. See? Like that it was dancing. From 0 degree to 35 degree, like that it was dancing. It was puzzled. See how is it dancing? When it is switched on, it is puzzled. How come the magnetic compass needle is dancing like that? What does a compass needle do? Compass needle is a small magnet. If you take a small magnet, does this magnet move by yourself? Tell me. A magnet, can it move? No, it will not move. When does the magnet starts responding? It will respond only to another magnet. But he was wondering, there is no other magnet present. He was checking beneath the table, above the table, nearby the table. Nowhere it was there. So this made him to explore more as well. He got a conclusion saying that it is because there is some effect of magnetic field which is produced around the wire. That is why the magnetic compass needle was dancing left and right like that. I have told you, an example. You take a balloon, fill it with water, and then the water, whenever you are moving with a balloon, the water molecule will not move up and down. Instead, it will be moving left and right like that. Or you can say that circular motion, that is nothing but the magnetic field. It is only due to the relative velocity. The same way here. So what happens? The magnetic compass needle was oscillating like that, which shows that there is some magnetic effect which is present. Where? Around the wire. So he was able to conclude finally. So we'll see. Oersted experiment. According to Oersted, so what is the simple essence of this experiment? One line answer, children. When you pass current through the conductor, magnetic field is produced. How he was able to arrive the conclusion? Just bringing a small magnetic compass needle below the wire. What does the compass needle does? When he pressed the key, the compass needle was found to be deflecting. Now what did he do? He switched the battery. He disconnected and switched the battery. So swapped the polarities of the battery. When you're swapping the polarities of the battery, so what happens? The magnetic compass needle, which was dancing like that, it started dancing in this way. Towards left earlier it was dancing, now it was going towards right, like that. So from this, he was able to understand that if you reverse the polarity of the battery, the magnetic field direction is also reversed. That is why the magnetic compass needle is found to be deflecting on the other side. So according to Oersted, I can write according to Oersted, when a current is passed through a conductor, when current is passed through a conductor AB, what happens when you pass current through it? Magnetic field will be produced. Magnetic field will be produced around the current carrying conductor. Magnetic field will be produced. Produced where? Around, not along. Around the current carrying conductor. Around the current carrying conductor. So that is the conclusion. So therefore, he observed. What is that observation? Observation. Number one, what did he observe? When current is passed through wire, magnetic field is produced. So magnetic field is produced around the current carrying conductor. Around the current carrying conductor. Number two, direction of magnetic field, does it depends upon the direction of the current? Yes. So you can write direction of magnetic field. Direction of magnetic field depend upon the direction of current. Depend on the direction of current. Direction of magnetic field depends upon the direction of the current. Strength of magnetic field depends upon the strength of current. More the strength of the current, more is the magnetic field. I mean, the more the strength of magnetic field. Strength of magnetic field depend upon strength of current. So this is the conclusion drawn by whom? Oersted. He was also trying to give the direction. How did we give the direction? The direction of magnetic field is obtained by using direction of magnetic field is found by using Snow rule. S-N-O-W, children. Snow rule. What is that Snow rule? S-N-O-W. So that is nothing but S-N-O-W is south to north. S-N-O-W is nothing but south to north. South to north. Which is south to north? Current flows from south to north. The needle deflects over west. Deflects over west. The needle is deflecting over west. So the current flows from south to north. South to north the current is flowing. So therefore the magnetic compass needle. How does the magnetic compass needle? This is the magnetic compass needle. Magnetic compass needle. So I'm just drawing the magnetic compass needle. So if you want, I can just take that magnetic compass needle from here. I'm drawing the magnetic compass needle. Yes, yeah. I have taken this magnetic compass needle. The magnetic compass needle was found to be deflecting like that. See, it is deflecting like that. Because the current is flowing upwards. Can you see here? This is the current which is flowing upwards. See, the current flows upwards. So current is flowing upwards. Whereas the magnetic compass needle is found to be deflecting towards left. Can you see the magnetic compass needle now? I is the current which is flowing upwards, whereas the magnetic compass needle which is kept below the wire, it is found to be deflecting towards left. So that means this is south to north. The needle will be deflecting towards west. See, look at the west. West is nothing but towards left, no? So the needle is deflecting towards west. So south to north, needle deflects over west. That is what Snow rule. Understand? So this is Snow rule is the old rule, but nowadays we are using right hand thumb rule. If you curl your thumb, the fingers which is curling the thumb will be representing the direction of magnetic field, whereas the thumb shows the direction of the current, which is possible only for the linear conductor. Children, can you listen here? Let us take this conductor is linear, so therefore I'm taking this as a linear conductor, and you see here this is thumb. So thumb shows the direction of the current, see, and the fingers encircling will give you the direction of magnetic field. Look at my fingers. Is it coming anti-clockwise? Yes. Thumb shows the direction of the current. Fingers encircling will give you the direction of the magnetic field. So can we see that, children? Yes. Can you see here? Right hand thumb rule. Suki, see here. Right hand thumb rule. Can you see here, children? Right hand thumb rule. Yes? What could you understand from that? Which shows the thumb shows the direction of the current. Can you see here thumb? Yes, the thumb is showing the direction of the current. What hand? Right hand. And the fingers encircling will give you the direction of the magnetic field. Can you see here? Fingers encircling. The tip of the fingers is showing towards the right. That is nothing but anti-clockwise direction. You can see anti-clockwise. This is anti-clockwise. How do you say it is anti-clockwise, children? You know that clock. In your house, does the clock goes? How does the clock moves in your house? In your house, the clock moves from 12 to 3. So 12 to 3. So 12 to 3 if it goes, that is clockwise. But then here, how is it going? Is it going clockwise or anti-clockwise? Anti-clockwise. So therefore, anti-clockwise, upwards current. And if it is clockwise, it's going to be, so if I say downward current, current is downwards and it is fingers encircling will give you clockwise. Hope you understand, children. So, for a linear conductor only it is possible. For a linear conductor, what is the thumb shows? Thumb shows the direction of current. Direction of current. Whereas the fingers encircling will give you the direction of magnetic field. Fingers encircling will give you the direction of magnetic field. Hope you understand. Whereas for the circular loop, children listen here, circular loop I am taking. So which I have already drawn here. You can see here circular loop. This is circular loop. Right hand rule for the magnetic field produced in the circular loop. Can you see here, keenly observe? The thumb shows the direction of magnetic field, is it given? Whereas the fingers represent the direction of the current, which is contradict. No? No. It is just the opposite as because it is a circular loop. If it is a linear conductor, thumb is the current, fingers are the magnetic field. If it is a circular loop conductor, thumb is the current, thumb is the magnetic field, fingers are the current. Thumb is the magnetic field, fingers are the current, like that. So, same way, here, this is clockwise. Thumb shows the direction of, can you see here, thumb shows the direction of magnetic field. Whereas the fingers encircling will give you the direction of current. So, it is clockwise. Similarly, this is anti-clockwise. That is all, children. That is how you need to find out the rule. But then, if it is asked to find out what is the direction of the magnetic field at a point, I am going to teach you the same thing. So now, direction of magnetic field at a point. Direction of magnetic field at a point. Magnetic field at a point. How to find out? For a current carrying conductor, for a current carrying conductor. Now let me take the conductor, children. So now I'm going to take a conductor. So this is the conductor. This is the conductor. Two examples let me give you. Okay, then this is the conductor. This is the conductor. So four conductors I have taken. Now in all this conductor, I would like to draw the direction of the current. The first conductor, I am just drawing the direction of the current. It is upwards. Second conductor, direction of the current is up, downwards. Here towards left, here towards right. Where is the point P? It is given. Magnetic field at a point P. Where is point P? Point P is given here. Here point P is given here. Point P is given above. Point P is given below. Like that. Now we have to find out what is the direction of magnetic field at a point P for a current carrying conductor. Can we start doing it? Use right and thumb rule, children. Very easy, children. Okay? So listen carefully. Use only right and thumb. When you're using right and thumb rule, you have to check for where is the tip of the fingers. So now this is the right and thumb rule. And I've already told you for a linear conductor, thumb represent what? Current. And fingers encircling will give you the direction of magnetic field. Now you tell me, whenever you're curling, right? This is curling. So when I'm curling, look at the right hand side and left hand side of your pen. Take your pen. Towards the left hand side of your pen is this fingers pointing you or coming out of the paper. Yes, it is coming out of the paper. You take a paper and then check. Yes, you take a paper and check. Now I'm taking it. This is the current direction, current carrying conductor. Towards the left of the conductor, look at my fingers. Is it coming outside the paper? Out towards the paper. That means in front of the paper, outwards. Yes, it is coming outward. Therefore, I should put dot. But at the same time, the right hand side of this pen, is it going inwards? Can you see my fingertips? Can you see my fingertips? It is going inwards into the paper. So therefore, towards the left, it is coming outwards. Towards the right, it is going inwards. So, but then here, towards the right, only point P is there. So therefore, I should give this as into the plane of the paper. That's all. So answer is perpendicular into the plane of the paper. Right. Similarly, second sum. Use right hand thumb rule. So I'm using right hand thumb rule. See here. Downwards. So magnetic field in the left hand side of the wire is into. Whereas the right hand side of the wire, it is coming outwards. Like this. So therefore, magnetic field is perpendicular outwards. What about third question? Very simple. This is current. Magnetic field above the wire is inwards. So perpendicular inwards. Next, here, fourth question. Look at the direction of the current. The current is towards left to right. Magnetic field above is coming outwards, whereas below is going inwards. So I should put inwards. Navladan, children. Nothing very great. B. Magnetic field is inwards, or you can say perpendicular inwards. So hope you understand how to find out. This is for linear conductor. What is for the circular loop? Circular loop. Circular loop. Carrying current. So this is circular loop. I have taken a loop. And in this loop, current is flowing clockwise direction. Use right and thumb rule. So I have taken this loop. Current is flowing clockwise direction. Look at that thumb. Thumb shows the magnetic field. Now, where is the thumb goes? You see here, if I am keeping it like that for a paper, where is the thumb shows? Thumb is going inwards. So therefore, I have to write the magnetic field is at the center of the loop. Magnetic field is perpendicular inwards. Whereas If the current in the loop is going to be anti-clockwise, so the current in the loop is going to be anti-clockwise. See, anti-clockwise. Where is my thumb comes? Perpendicular outwards. So at the point P, I have to write it as perpendicular outwards. That is all, children. That's all. In order to find out the electric field, we always use Gauss law and find out, right? In order to find out the magnetic field, we are going to use the law called as Biot-Savart law. What law? Biot-Savart law. So I'm using Biot-Savart's law. Biot-Savart's law to determine the magnitude of magnetic field. Magnitude of magnetic field. Magnetic field. In the previous page, I would like to just tell you, now listen here, I have taken this, right? Yeah. In this page, you must be knowing that the magnetic field is always produced around the wire, not along the wire. If I ask you what is the magnetic field at point P along the wire, then you should say there is no magnetic field at all. See, if you're going to, if you're asked to find out what is the magnetic field at point P, in this case, for the fifth question, you should write, so no magnetic field. No magnetic field. Where? Along the wire. Along the wire, there is no magnetic field. Always will be around the wire. So therefore, point P is along the wire. So magnetic field is equal to 0, you can write. So do you understand, children? What I mean, do you understand? So hope you understand. So now I'll just come back to this. Biot-Savart law. Biot-Savart law to determine the direction, not direction, the magnitude of magnetic field at a point due to current carrying conductor. Current conductor. So I have taken a current conductor. So look at that. Infinitely long current carrying conductor I have taken. Current is flowing in this direction. You have to find out the magnetic field at point P. So we know that the current flows upwards. The magnetic field towards the left hand side of the wire is outwards and the right hand side of the wire is inwards. So therefore, the right hand side is perpendicular inwards. So now this is point P2, small elementary portion of the wire I have taken. That is dl vector. Small elementary portion to point P distance is r. And this angle is phi over here. According to Biot-Savart law, Biot-Savart's law, the magnitude of magnetic field, dB, due to small elementary portion, the magnitude of magnetic field dB due to small elementary portion. Very simple, children. Okay, it's going to get over. That is all. So small elementary portion. Which is a small elementary portion I have taken because it is infinitely long wire. Can you identify the infinitely long wire? That's why I put dotted lines here. So in order to find out the infinitely long wire, take a small elementary portion. Due to small elementary portion, dl. Due to small elementary portion dl is dB directly proportional to strength of the current and dB directly proportional to length of the elementary portion and dB directly proportional to sine of angle between dl and r. Phi is angle between dl and r. dl vector is small elementary portion and r vector. And of course, it is inversely proportional to r square. Taking out the proportional to be a constant, dB is equal to constant mu naught by 4 pi ideal sine phi by r square. Mu naught by 4 pi ideal sine phi by r square. This is the final expression of Biot-Savart law. So now, There you have written the constant called 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught in Coulomb's law. Here in Biot-Savart law, what is the constant? It is mu naught by 4 pi. But what is mu naught by 4 pi? Where mu naught is equal to, constant, that is nothing but absolute permeability. The value of absolute permeability is 4 pi into 10 power minus 7. 4 pi into 10 power minus 7. Tesla, meter per ampere. What is Tesla, children? Which unit is Tesla? The very first beginning we have seen. Now, what is that? Which unit is Tesla? Tesla is the unit of magnetic field. Is it scalar or vector? Vector. What's the direction of magnetic field? General direction is always from north to what? South. But then here current carrying conductor, no, magnetic field, what's the direction? The current flows upwards in a current carrying linear conductor. The direction of magnetic field will be anti-clockwise. That's all. Current flows downwards clockwise. So mu naught is absolute permeability. So therefore I can write Biot-Savart law in vector form. I'm going to write in vector form. How do you write Biot-Savart law in vector form? So dB is equal to mu naught by 4 pi ideal sine phi divided by r square, which can be written as dB vector is equal to mu naught by 4 pi I into dl cross r, because a cross b is ab sine theta, dl cross bar divided by r cube. That's all. In same way, how you have done for what? How have we done for Coulomb's law? Force, right? Same thing only. So hope you understand, children. I just wanted you to put a box there for I'm taking this, cutting this, and then writing the same thing. dB vector is equal to mu naught by 4 pi I into dl cross r divided by r cube. This is in what form? Vector form. So therefore you can understand that dB is perpendicular to both, dl vector and r vector. dB is perpendicular to both dl vector and r vector. How is it perpendicular? We have to check, right? How is it perpendicular? How to draw? This is dl vector. dl vector. This is r vector. So therefore, dB vector will be perpendicular to both, right? So this is dB vector. That is all. Suppose slightly tilt, I am going to take this as dl vector. This is r vector. So therefore, dl cross r will be equal to dB vector. Same thing. dl cross r is equal to dB vector, but here it should be perpendicular like that. So hope you understand, children. So application of Biot-Savart law we will see in the next class. Till this, you have to practice the direction of the magnetic field at various points. Okay, children. Thank you, children, for the day.